sanctioning fees. But imagine Leo Santa Cruz's surprise the other day when he gets a call from his manager saying, ring, ring, ring. He picks it up. He's chilling on his couch watching Netflix, and they tell him, look, remember when you fought at featherweight? You remember that? You remember when you fought at featherweight all those years ago? Yeah, I remember featherweight. You remember when you won that belt at featherweight? Yeah, I remember it. It's somewhere around here. I don't remember. Yeah, I remember winning it. Yeah, they want you to defend it. They're telling you that you have 24 hours to decide if you want to defend the belt. And he's like, what do you mean defend the belt? What does that mean? Well, there's a mandatory. He worked his way up, and you have to have a defense against the mandatory. What do you mean a mandatory? What do you mean defense? What does defense mean? That means you have to defend the belt you won. You have to fight in order to keep the belt that you won. And Leo Santa Cruz is just sitting there baffled, like, I have to do what? You mean I just can't keep this thing forever? I thought I just keep this thing. Nobody ever told me anything. You know, I'm just chilling with it. I'm just sitting here watching Netflix. There's a trophy case over there. Nobody ever told me anything about defending a belt. I don't even fight at 126 anymore. What are you talking about? Yeah. You got 24 hours to decide if you want to defend your belt or not. Fight this guy over in the UK and defend your belt. And Leo Santa Cruz is just baffled. He hangs up the phone. He calls his family member. They tell me I got something about a defense. I got to defend. I actually have to. I have to fight to keep my belt. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I thought I was just able to keep this thing forever. I thought I was just able to keep this thing. I thought I was just keeping it in the trophy case. So poor Leo Santa Cruz has to, after 3.5 years, defend his belt now. Poor Leo Santa Cruz. But imagine how corrupt that right there is, to where a guy can keep his belt for 3.5 years when he hasn't even been competing in that weight class. And think about, we talk about rules for thee, not for me. There's no way that a sanctioning body can keep consistency across the board through 17 weight classes if they're allowing a guy to keep a belt for 3.5 years, because I know they're not doing it for their other champions. So there's a reason they're doing that. And once again, it all circles back to corruption. And it didn't always used to be this way. I mentioned at the top, anything with an alphabet in it starts off with good intentions until it doesn't. Until it becomes corrupted. And at that point is a snowball going downhill. You can't stop it. You can't stop it at that point. And it's this way with every sanctioning body that's ever come around. The WBA started off as the NBA in 1921. And the reason the NBA at the time, and it turned to the WBA in the 1960s, is because they felt that they had some guys that felt that the New York State Athletic Commission, which at the time, boxing was a mostly northeastern U.S. sport. They felt that they were corrupt. So they were going to come and counteract that corruption. Remember, starts off with good intentions until it doesn't. So they wanted to counterbalance, and the first ever sanctioning body fight was the WBA or the NBA, Jack Dempsey versus Carpentier. And that was in 1921. It's the first sanctioned bout. 1962, it turns into the WBA as boxing became a more global sport. 1963, the WBC is founded. So then you have two sanctioning bodies. And then later on, you would have the IBF in 1983 would be created. And then in 1988, the WBO would be created. But in each case, each of them were for a reason. They were created to counterbalance the other one. The WBC felt like there was a pro-American bias, so they wanted to create a global sanctioning body to recognize other countries. The IBF felt like there was an anti-American bias, so we're going to create a sanctioning body and reward all big-name Americans, Larry Holmes, Marvin Hagler, Curry. So the IBF did that, and the WBO came after, and they started rewarding European champions. A lot of your European champions, like Joe Calzaghe. What are some of the other ones? Eubank, another one. A lot of these big European fighters were WBO champions, and that's how they gained their notoriety as a European outfit. And as they did this, it became a more global sport. And what I spoke about earlier, now you have 16 countries represented as real champions.